O God of creation, direct our noble course, guide our leaders right, help our youth the truth to know, in love and honesty to grow, and live in just and truth, great lofty heights attain, to build a nation where peace and justice reign. Amen. Welcome to another episode of Talk and Do with CPDI, a program where we talk Nigeria as it is and do Nigeria as it ought to be. I am BABAJIDE Michael Olusegun, and with me in the studio is Francis Tokede. Thank you very much, Francis, for featuring on Talk and Do with CPDI.
Thank you for having me.
Thank you very much for coming. Today we would be having a conversation around the economic objectives of Nigeria as spelled out in Section 16 of Chapter 2 of the Constitution of the Federal Republic of Nigeria, 1999. I'm sure our viewers will agree with me that this is the best time to have this conversation because of the economic, upheavals and the economic distress that is currently ravaging the Federation. Before we delve into the conversation proper, as usual, we would listen to the section in the indigenous languages of Nigeria, and also listen to Nigerians, what their views are about the said Section 16, and then we delve into the conversation proper. Stay tuned.
Kundin tsarin mulki na 1999 na tarayyar Najeriya, sashi na 16, ƙaramin sashi na 1. Jiha za ta kasance a cikin mahallin aƙida da manufofi da aka tanada a cikin kundin tsarin mulki. Ƙaramin sashi na 1 a cikin baka. Amfani da albarkatun ƙasa don inganta ci gaban ƙasa da kuma wani ingantaccen tattalin arziki mai ƙarfi da kuma dogaro da kai. Ba cikin baka. Sarrafa tattalin arzikin ƙasa ta yadda za a tabbatar da mafi girman jin daɗi, ‘yanci da jin daɗin kowane ɗan ƙasa bisa adalci na zamantakewa da daidaiton matsayi da dama. Ca cikin baka. Ba tare da la'akari da haƙƙin mutum na yin aiki ko shiga cikin sassan tattalin arziki ba, banda manyan sassa na tattalin arziki, gudanarwa da gudanar da ayyukan manyan sassa na tattalin arziki. Da cikin baka. Ba tare da la'akari da haƙƙin kowane mutum ba don shiga cikin yankuna na tattalin arziki a cikin manyan sassan tattalin arziki, kare haƙƙin kowane mutum ɗan ƙasa don shiga cikin duk wani harkokin tattalin arziki da ke wajen manyan sassa na tattalin arzikin. Ƙaramin sashi na 2. Gwamnati za ta jagoranci manufofinta don tabbatar da a cikin baka, inganta ingantaccen ci gaban tattalin arziki da aka tsara. Ba cikin baka. Cewa an yi amfani da albarkatun ƙasa da kuma rarraba su yadda ya kamata wajen yi wa al'umma hidima. Ca cikin baka. Cewa ba a sarrafa tsarin tattalin arziki ba ta hanyar da za ta ba da izinin tattara dukiya ko hanyoyin samarwa da musaya a hannun mutane kaɗan ba ko kuma wani rukuni. Kuma da cikin baka. Dacewa da kuma isasshen matsuguni, dacewa da isasshen abinci. Mafi ƙarancin albashi na ƙasa mai ma'ana, kula da tsofaffi da fansho, da rashin aikin yi, fa'idodin marasa lafiya da jin daɗin nakasassu za su kasance ana ba da su ga duk ‘yan ƙasa. Ƙaramin sashi na 3. Za a kafa wata hukumar doka ta Majalisar Dokoki ta ƙasa wacce ke da iko a cikin baka don yin bita lokaci zuwa lokaci, ikon mallaka da sarrafa kasuwancin kamfanoni da ke aiki a Najeriya da kuma ba da shawarwari ga shugaban ƙasa kan hakan. Kuma ba cikin baka. Gudanar da kowane doka don tsara ikon mallaka da sarrafa irin wannan kamfanonin. Ƙaramin sashi na 4. Domin amfanin ƙaramin sashi na 1 na wannan sashi, a cikin baka, za a yi la'akari da manyan sassan tattalin arziki a matsayin dangane da irin waɗannan ayyukan tattalin arziki waɗanda mai yiwuwa daga lokaci zuwa lokaci za a bayyana ta a ƙudurin da kowace majalisar dokoki ta ƙasa za ta gudanar da kuma gudanar da ayyukanta ta gwamnatin tarayya kawai, kuma har sai majalisar dokokin ƙasar ta yanke shawarar saɓanin haka. Ayyukan tattalin arziki wanda gwamnatin tarayya ce kawai take gudanarwa a daidai lokacin gabanin ranar da wannan sashe ya fara aiki, kai tsaye ko ta hanyar hukumomin doka ko wani kamfani za su kasance ne a matsayin manyan sassan tattalin arziki ba cikin baka. Ayyukan tattalin arziki kai tsaye ya haɗa da ayyukan da suka shafi samarwa, rarrabawa da musayar yanayi ko kayayyaki da ayyuka, kuma ca cikin baka. Shiga ya haɗa da gudanar da ayyuka da kuma samar da kaya.
Apá mẹ́rìndínlógún ti ìwé òfin àgbà orílẹ̀-èdè Nàìjíríà sọ wípé apá kan kìíní láàárín àwọn ìṣètò àpẹẹrẹ tó tọ́ àti àwọn àfojúsùn fún èyí tí àwọn ìpèsè ti wà ní ṣíṣe nínú ìwé òfin àgbà yìí, ìjọba yóò a. Ṣe ìmúlò àwọn ohun èlò ti orílẹ̀-èdè àti ṣe ìgbélárugẹ àìsíkì orílẹ̀-èdè àti ọrọ̀ ajé tó jẹ́ ohun dáradára, ìmúdàgbà àti tó lè dá dúró. Ṣàkóso ọrọ̀ ajé orílẹ̀-èdè àpapọ̀ ní irú ọ̀nà láti ṣe ààbò èrè ìrànwọ́, òmìnira àti ìdùnnú ti gbogbo ọmọ ìlú lórí ìpìlẹ̀ ìlànà ti àwùjọ ìdájọ́ àti dídọ́gba ti ipò àti ti àǹfààní. c. Láì jẹ́ ìdíwọ́ kankan sí ẹ̀tọ́ rẹ̀ láti ṣiṣẹ́ tàbí kópa ní àwọn agbègbè ti ọrọ̀ ajé tí wọ́n ń ṣe àwọn apá ti ọrọ̀ ajé pàtàkì, ṣàkóso àti ṣèmúlò àwọn apá kan ti ètò ọrọ̀ ajé pàtàkì. d. Láì jẹ́ ìdíwọ́ kankan fún ẹ̀tọ́ ẹnikẹ́ni láti kópa ní àwọn agbègbè ọrọ̀ ajé tó wà láàárín àwọn apá kan ọrọ̀ ajé pàtàkì, dáàbò bo ẹ̀tọ́ gbogbo ọmọ ìlú láti kópa ní èyíkéyìí iṣẹ́ ajé tí wọ́n ń ṣe àwọn apá kan ti ètò ọrọ̀ ajé pàtàkì. Apá kan kejì, ìjọba yóò darí ètò ìmúlò rẹ̀ láti rí pé a. Ìgbéga wà fún ìdàgbàsókè ètò ọrọ̀ ajé tí ó létò àti tí ó wà ní ìwọ̀ntúnwọ̀nsì. b. Pé àwọn ohun èlò tí orílẹ̀-èdè wà ní mímúlò àti ní pínpín bí ó ti ṣeé ṣe láti sin ire tí ó wọ́pọ̀. c. Pé ètò ọrọ̀ ajé kò wà ní lílò ní irú ọ̀nà láti fàyè gba wíwà lójú kan ọrọ̀ tàbí àwọn ọ̀nà ìpèsè àti pàṣípàrọ̀ ní ọwọ́ àwọn ènìyàn díẹ̀ tàbí ti ẹgbẹ́ kan, àti d. Pé ibi ààbò tó yẹ àti tó tọ́, ẹ̀tọ́ sí oúnjẹ àti ààbò oúnjẹ, owó iṣẹ́ ojúṣe orílẹ̀-èdè tí ó kéré jù mú ọgbọ́n wá ó sì lè tóni fún wíwà láàyè, ìtọ́jú àgbàlagbà àti àwọn owó ìfẹ̀yìntì, ìrànlọ́wọ́ fún aláìníṣẹ́ àti aláìsàn, pẹ̀lú ìrànlọ́wọ́ fún àwọn aláàbọ̀ ara ó wà ní pípèsè fún gbogbo ọmọ ìlú. Apá kan kẹta, a ó gbé àjọ kan kalẹ̀ nípasẹ̀ òfin ti ilé ìṣòfin ti orílẹ̀-èdè tí ó máa ní agbára a. Láti ṣe àtúnyẹ̀wò ní àkókò sí àkókò níní àti ìṣàkóso ti àwọn ilé-iṣẹ́ òwò ṣíṣe tí ń ṣiṣẹ́ ní Nàìjíríà àti láti fún ààrẹ ní ìmọ̀ràn lórí nǹkan wọ̀nyí, àti b. Láti ṣe ìṣàkóso òfin èyíkéyìí tá a ti gbé kalẹ̀ fún ìlànà ti níní àti ìṣàkóso àwọn ilé-iṣẹ́ òwò ṣíṣe náà. Apá kan kẹrin, fún àwọn ìdí ti apá kan kìíní ti apá yìí, a. Apá kan a. Ìtọ́ka sí àwọn agbègbè ọrọ̀ ajé pàtàkì yóò túmọ̀ sí ìtọ́ka sí irú àwọn iṣẹ́ ajé tí ó lè láti ìgbà dé ìgbà wà ní kíkéde nípasẹ̀ ìpinnu ti ilé kọ̀ọ̀kan ti ilé ìṣòfin ti orílẹ̀-èdè láti ṣàkóso àti ṣiṣẹ́ ní ìyàsọ́tọ̀ nípasẹ̀ ìjọba àpapọ̀ àti títí tí ìpinnu mìíràn máa fi jẹyọ láti ilé ìṣòfin ti orílẹ̀-èdè. Iṣẹ́ ajé tí ìjọba àpapọ̀ ń dánìkan ṣe ní ọjọ́ tí ó ṣáájú lẹ́sẹ̀kẹsẹ̀ ọjọ́ tí apá yìí wá sí mímúlò, bóyá tààrà tàbí nípasẹ̀ àwọn ilé-iṣẹ́ ìjọba tí a dá sílẹ̀ nípasẹ̀ ìlànà òfin ṣíṣe tàbí ilé-iṣẹ́ òmíràn tàbí ilé-iṣẹ́ aládàáni, ni a ó rò pé ó jẹ́ àwọn apá kan ọrọ̀ ajé pàtàkì. Apá kan B. Àwọn iṣẹ́ ajé pẹ̀lú iṣẹ́ ṣíṣe tí ó fi tààràtàrà jọmọ́ pípèsè, pínpín àti pàṣípàrọ̀ ọrọ̀ tàbí ti ẹrù ọjà àti àwọn iṣẹ́. Àti apá kan C. Kíkópa pẹ̀lú pípèsè àwọn iṣẹ́ àti ìpèsè ẹrù ọjà. Abala A ti apá 16 lórí ààbò oúnjẹ. Apá kan kìíní. Ìjọba yóò darí ètò ìmúlò rẹ̀ láti rí pé. Apá kan A. Àwọn ìlànà tí ó wà fini lọ́kànbalẹ̀ pé ààbò oúnjẹ wà fún orílẹ̀-èdè nípasẹ̀ wíwà, rírí àti ríra oúnjẹ fún àǹfààní àwọn ọmọ ìlú. Ó wà ní dídásílẹ̀, gbígbéṣe àti ní mímúṣe. Apá kan B. Àwọn ọ̀nà ìpèsè, ìtọ́jú àti pínpín ti oúnjẹ wà ní gbígbéga sókè àti ní dídára lóòrèkóòrè. Apá kan C. Ojúlówó ìgbésẹ̀ wà ní pípèsè láti rí dájú pé ààbò oúnjẹ orílẹ̀-èdè kò ní ìpalára nípasẹ̀ èyíkéyìí ènìyàn, ẹgbẹ́ tàbí ilé-iṣẹ́. Apá kan kejì. Ìjọba yóò ṣe ìgbélárugẹ àti ìtẹ̀síwájú fún àwọn iṣẹ́ oríṣiríṣi tí ó mú kí ààbò oúnjẹ dára. Apá kan kejì. Ìjọba yóò ṣe ìgbélárugẹ àti ìtẹ̀síwájú fún àwọn iṣẹ́ oríṣiríṣi tí ó mú kí ààbò oúnjẹ dára. Welcome to the Vox Pop segment of Talk and Do with CPDI, the program where we talk Nigeria as it is and do Nigeria as it ought to be. I am BABAJIDE Michael Olusegun. Today I will be engaging Nigerians on a series of questions. What are these questions? Stay tuned to find out. You don't see Nigerian constitution before?
I'm not a lawyer.
No, not at all.
I never see.
If I give you a copy of the constitution, would you like to read it?
Yeah.
Okay, section 16 of Nigerian constitution talks say government suppose direct in programs and its activities to ensure say everyone wey dey Nigeria, in fact every Nigerian citizen, he get access to food, access to shelter, the person's welfare, whether old, young, employed and unemployed, able or disabled, is catered for and everyone is happy and free. You think say government fit do all of these things for which section 16 of Nigerian constitution talk about?
We are not. We are just on our own. They don't care. They don't even know if we are existing. That's just the facts.
They fit do am, but the problem we have is corruption. If they can skip up that corruption and do the right thing, I think it's very possible.
If na government wey dey sincere, wey love his people, with things wey we get for this country, Nigeria get money o. Nigeria get money. If government can help us and leave this thing wey they call corruption, taking money wey no be their own, wey be our own. If government can leave such thing and make sure say the people wey vote for them, wey suffer for them, wey fight for them, get what they want, what they promise them to get. I'm telling you, government has every power to give us shelter, electricity, hospital, good hospital, many things that we need in this country. Government has the money to give it to us, but some of the government workers, in short, they don't love us. If our government can use their mind together, their heads together, their love together, make sure say, these people suffer for us, we will help them. They will do all these things you ask me.
Your business is located within Amak Area Council. So how has the policy or the program or the legislation, the laws of the chairman of AMAC Area Council, how has it moved your business forward, or how is it frustrating your business?
Okay, for me, I don't have any issue with the AMAC. Likewise, if you check this our roads, just a new construction. The tide is just recently, so we are happy for what we experience. This our environment, especially the road. So we're happy about it. So that's the only thing I would say that we benefit from the government.
Welcome back to the Talk and Do with CPDI show, a program where we talk Nigeria as it is and do Nigeria as it ought to be. Francis, we have listened to Nigerians talk about the economic realities of Nigeria and their responses to what the Constitution says about how the economy of Nigeria should, be regulated and should be catered for. What are your initial reactions to some of the things you heard Nigerians say?
Well, to start with, the first reaction is people know there is a constitution.
Okay.
But not too many people are familiar with it, because from the vox pop that we saw, the question that was asked to them, had to be explained to them.
Yes.
The provisions of the constitution had to be read to them. Now, if you do not know what you have, and if you do not know what rights you have, what responsibilities those in government have towards you, you cannot possibly demand for those rights.
Yes.
So it is first of all important that people become more familiar with the constitution.
Yes.
Knowing what they have, knowing what they can ask for, knowing what a government official will do for them.
And that what is to ask a government official for.
To actually do for them. Exactly.
Do, yes.
Good. So it is also important for people to realize that there are some things that government does that is the responsibility of government. It's not as if government is doing you a favor.
Yes.
I mean, sovereignty belongs to the people.
Yes.
We submitted our sovereignty to government so that government can take care of us.
Yes.
So government exists for the people. The people do not exist for government. Exactly. So that part is something that jumped out at me very vividly from that thing. And also there is the aspect of it's clear across board. Nigerians are not happy.
Yes.
Yes, we have said over time that we are a happy people. We make fun out of a lot of things, and
that if this place is blocked now, the Nigerians have
we
the
find a way
to find a way
just do something, go through, go under, go above, go around, just
grief for
find a way. You understand? But at the end of the day, you see, the effort we are investing in trying to find a way anyhow,
yes,
we can invest that effort in doing something more productive.
Okay, like what?
Good. So I said initially that Nigerians are not happy.
Yes.
Nigerians are not happy because their basic needs are not being met. If their basic needs are being met, you see, all the innovative energy, let me put it that way, that are geared towards finding food somehow, anyhow, finding water somehow, anyhow, that energy can be channeled into something else, because
something more
innovative. If the basic needs are not met,
yes,
you are not going anywhere.
I mean, one of the people we interviewed was asked how the economic policies of government was moving his business forward, and the next thing is we don't have food to eat.
So
he was not even listening to the question. He was more interested. See, I'm hungry.
There is actually a statement on the street, a question actually.
Yes.
So government releases a statistics, and people say, "Now statistics
we go chop."
Yeah. But it's true actually. Now statistics we go chop. Because how much was Gary? How much is Gary? How much was rice? How much is rice? How much was beans? How much is beans? Until people are able to feed first,
Yes.
everything they are thinking is about food. Until they can feed first,
Yes.
everything is about food. The physiological needs need to be met. Food, water, shelter, clothing, the feeling of I am sleeping here tonight. I am sure that some people will not come in the middle of the night and slaughter me
or kidnap me.
All those things need to be met before people can start thinking of, oh, we can create phones, we can create cars. This parcel of land, if I build something here, I can create a factory. All those things are secondary. Food needs to be met first. And people are not angry because they are hungry. A hungry man is an angry man, they say, Abi.
Yes.
If people are no longer hungry, then better things will begin to happen.
I wish I could just ask you immediately that, are we really hungry in Nigeria? But before we get there, let's look at our Section 16, which defines what the economic objectives of Nigeria should be. How does it really help in mitigating our problems? Or how has it even contributed to our problems? So there are like 4 subsections under Section 16. And the first subsection reads as follows. The state shall, within the context of the ideals and objectives for which provisions are made in this constitution, 1. Harness the resources of the nation and promote national prosperity and an efficient, dynamic, and self-reliant economy. By this provision, should we be listening to IMF? Should we be fixated on oil and gas and agriculture? Should we not be talking about, diversifying the economy in such a way that we would not be hoodwinked by the policies of foreign institutions?
We don't have a self-reliant economy, unfortunately.
But the Constitution says the state shall, unless
so I think the government should lie itself down and whip itself. Because basically the government has failed itself. The government has failed the people and failed itself. To put it simply, that's it. Because if you have a self-reliant economy, you don't have to be pressed to implement some policies that are not good for you or good for your people. Again, as I said earlier, government exists for the people, not people for the government.
Yes.
If you are bringing a policy from anywhere, I do not care, that is not meant to help your people, then there is a problem.
Now, speaking of helping your people, the subsequent paragraph under that subsection 1 says, the government, the state, shall control the national economy in such manner as to secure the maximum welfare, freedom, and happiness of every citizen on the basis of social justice and equality of status and opportunity. While you were giving your initial reactions, you said Nigerians are not happy.
Simple.
But that's the truth. But
we are talking about happiness. On the surface, Nigerians can laugh. We have a lot of skit makers. So Nigerians laugh, and in fact, the laughter industry.
The
laughter industry has made a lot of money because of Nigerians' unhappiness.
The laughter industry in Nigeria has made a lot of money
precisely because of Nigerians'
unhappiness.
Yes.
So this laughter industry, this entertainment industry, is thriving on the misadventures and misfortunes.
The misery of the people.
The misery of
Actually,
the people.
while
so
the
we should be
laughter
laughing
industry
less
is good,
in Nigeria.
You get the gist. That's where I'm going to. While it is good to laugh, it is good, but that is concealing, that is hiding something that is
living in
deeper.
denial.
Simple. Living in denial. So we say we are happy. Nigerians are the happiest people in Africa. Oh, yes. Wow, nice. Are we really happy? That's the question. You are hungry. Are you really happy? Nigeria is a place where you can be a millionaire, but God forbid one lifestyle disease in your family. One lifestyle disease. You become wretched straight away. Just one lifestyle
on
disease.
Account of.
So are we really happy? Go to where they do kidney, where they treat kidney failure, they do dialysis and all of those things. Go and see check the people there. Are they happy? Right? People who cannot send their children to school. I saw a video recently, a man who drives a taxi, these buses.
Yes.
And the man made some statements, very funny statements, but the man was weeping while making the statement that he works from morning till night, nothing comes out of it. His children, he cannot pay their school fees. But his family, he cannot feed
tears,
them.
are they figurative tears you are referring to now, or literal tears?
Actual tears.
Actual
yes.
tears.
He said something about, and it was at that point that he said something funny, that he started shedding tears. That as he was saying it in Yoruba, that he drives from morning till night, and his private organs become heated up like they are boiling. But at the end of the day, nothing comes out of it. Is that person happy? That's the story of a lot of people. So you have a lot of people who cannot sleep with their two eyes closed. They can watch skit makers in the day and laugh. But are they really happy? So the question keeps going like that about whether Nigerians are happy or not. Basically, let's not deceive ourselves. Nigerians are not happy. Nigerians are not truly happy. We are just covering what is on the surface with the laughter industry has helped us to do that. So while the laughter industry is good, it has its own disadvantages because it does not allow us to take things as seriously as they should be. So something that should not be happens. Skit makers make fun of it. We laugh over it.
Something that should naturally trigger in us the desire to take action.
To go out and say, this is not supposed to be. We just laugh over it. In fact, we expect skit makers to do something about it. So we can laugh over it.
In less than 24 hours, someone somewhere has just created something.
Comes out and we laugh over it. And the person gathers hundreds of thousands, millions of views.
And how is this boosting the Nigerian economy? This money that these people are making, are they paying taxes?
It's actually boosting the Nigerian economy in the sense that, well, those who are making money from it, they become self-reliant. They don't rely on they don't become a burden on the economy. So they have money which they can spend.
Yes.
Which is good. Which is actually this economic thing. It's tending in that direction that Nigerians have money which they can spend. Actually, if Nigerians have money to spend, the Nigerian economy will grow.
Okay.
Yes. If Nigerians don't have money to spend, the economy will not grow. So when you hear something like reducing the purchasing power, disposable income of the people, you are wondering, hello, is that a gaffe? Is that a misyan? Is it a mistake? Slip of tongue? Because you need people to spend money so that your economy will go. If people don't have money to spend, you are in trouble.
Because there will be chaos, anarchy.
There will be trouble. Businesses will close down.
But is that not a recipe for inflation?
If people have money to spend. So it's a recipe. I love that question. It's a recipe for inflation if people have money to spend. But that is where this thing comes in again, that the government has a responsibility to control the economy.
Okay.
To ensure that there is prosperity, but there is no inflation. Yes, there is prosperity. You have a lot of people who are able to spend money. You don't need to have several billionaires or several millionaires. You only need people who can have their needs met and have something left remaining. And what are the basic needs of Nigerians? I tell you, Nigerians are not looking for private jets. Ask Nigerians on the road. No, I'm not talking about. I'm talking about needs, not wants. The needs of Nigerians are not private jets. Actually, the needs of Nigerians are not cars. I have a car. I have said it several times and I continue to say that I don't have a business owning a car. If we have a good transportation system. I don't have a business owning a car. Because, I can just get to the road, get into a good taxi, and it takes me to where I am going. Get into a train, it takes me to where I'm going. Why do I need a car? I spend so much on the car. When I can easily spend it on public transportation. It's a liability, it's not an asset.
It's not an asset.
You get the point. So, well, Nigerians just need things that will make their lives easier. Food, to be available and affordable.
Available and affordable?
Yes. Water.
Yes.
Available and affordable.
Yes.
The last time I saw pipe-borne water, government, I'm in my 30s. The last time I saw pipe-borne water coming from government, I think I was less than 10. That I saw, other people may have seen
that was
recently.
more than 20 years
more
ago.
than 20 years ago. So I have not been seeing, but it's a government service.
Yes.
Electricity, education, all of these things. If people have it, good one and affordable, then you have little disposable income left. So many people say, oh, Nigerians are frivolous. They like to indulge in excesses in luxury and the rest of them. But, well, if I decide to take my family out one Sunday afternoon to go to the cinema and watch a movie at the cinema, that's not an excess. That is not luxury. Yes, that is recreation, which is important. But if I have not fed my family, I will not go to the cinema. Meanwhile, the cinema employs people.
Yeah.
If I don't go to the cinema and others don't go to the cinema will close down. People will be laid off. The resources invested in the cinema is wasted. So that's the thing.
So there appears to be some form of symbiotic relationship between what the government is expected to do in boosting the economy and how it impacts directly on the lives of the people they governed,
yes.
And of course how the country blossoms.
Actually, the prosperity of a country is directly equal to the prosperity of the people, straight away.
Okay, so subparagraph C of subsection 1 says, without prejudice to its rights, that is the right of the state to operate and participate in areas of the economies other than the major sectors of the economy, the state is to also manage and operate the major sectors of the economy. That subsection is saying that the government does not really need to limit itself to major sectors of the economy, but to also ensure that it manages and operates those major sectors of the economy. Now, subparagraph D, which is the point I was making, is without prejudice to the rights of any citizen or any person to participate in areas of the economy within the major sectors of the economy, to protect the right of every citizen to engage in any economic activities outside the major sectors of the economy. So, the economy as it is not just meant for government.
Clearly.
It's also meant for any person to participate in. But government has the responsibility to regulate, to control, to manage, and to operate.
Correct.
So,
absolutely.
Based on this, to what extent can we then say that largely the economic woes of Nigeria as it is as a result of mismanagement, the failure of government?
Okay, so to a very large extent, yes. Some people have said government does not have business in business.
Government has no business doing business.
I don't subscribe to that personally. I do not subscribe to it.
But they have good arguments.
They have good arguments.
Yes.
But I'll give you one example.
They propose public-private partnership.
I will give you one example. Exactly, public-private partnership comes in, right?
Yes.
Okay, take note of this example, and I will compare it with a Nigerian case. Ethiopian Airline is owned, I can't remember vividly now, if not 100%, very close to 100% by the government of Ethiopia.
Okay.
And Ethiopian Airlines is one of the most successful airlines in Africa, if not the best currently right now, most successful right now in Africa, and is a leading airline in the world. Nigeria had Nigeria Airways. We said government has no business in business. So somehow we tried to do away with Nigeria
Airline.
Now, we have attempted to partner with Virgin Atlantic. We created Virgin Nigeria. Somehow that thing did not work. And we have tried other ventures until the recent disgrace we had that a plane was borrowed from Ethiopian Airlines, brought to Nigeria. A lot of money was spent to loan it rebrand it, fly it down here, fly it back, and rebrand it back to
Ethiopia, where it came from.
So saying government has no business in business is, to me, I do not subscribe to it. But let us even take it that, okay, government does not have business in business. Let's just take it. So who has business in business? Private organizations, private individuals who have the means to run the business. Who have the means to run business should get into business. Now, before you get into business, there has to be enabling environments.
Yes.
What are the enabling environments here that encourage people to get into business? Because ask any group of NYSC members, more than half of them are just hoping, praying, and expecting to get a government job. Government job is not as if they want to follow a particular career path. They don't want a government job as something. They just want a government job. Now, if you have a large number of your youths looking for government job, how do you grow your economy? You only need to put enabling environments in place that will make industries thrive. So industries will spring up. And when industries spring up, they employ people. From employing people, industries, other people who have worked in those industries, they break out, so to say, to create replicas. It has happened the world over. It is not like, it's not a bad thing. They create a replica, grow that to another industry comes up, on and on like that. So government's role, if government doesn't have any business in business, government's role should primarily be, how do we make the environment so good that people can create businesses?
As a matter of fact, that statement that government has no business in business is even unconstitutional. Because from what we are saying here, from what the Constitution is saying in under Section 16,
without
prejudice to its right to operate and participate in areas of the economy.
Clearly, government has business in business
as far as our Constitution, our law is concerned.
Because actually, the Constitution expects that government employs people.
Yeah, of course.
And that government is involved in production, not just management.
Not
so
oversight.
If it is just civil service, bring files, sign files, that one is just management. But in actual production, I mean, in the past, we knew government being involved in production of plastic. Governments had plastic production companies, fruit canning factories, textile companies. Government was very much involved in business. Government was into hospitality. There are states, even till today, that still own hotels and the rest of them and still run them. So, government has to be involved in all of these things. What is stopping government from creating factories for people and let it run? So, in this case, if we deem it that, okay, there is so much indiscipline in government that government cannot successfully run a business, then make it a public-private partnership. Government creates this business. Let a private organization run it and make profit out of it. Because government should not just be throwing money into things. Make something out of it. You create an organization, you create a company, you create a factory, make money out of it. We should not be running at loss. So every government venture is running at a loss. What do you mean running at a loss?
Okay, so still on this, government has no business doing business. The factors of production have been largely agreed to be land, labor, capital, and entrepreneurship. Of these four, government is in control of three. Land. The Land Use Act clearly states unequivocally government owns all the land. I cannot buy land today without the prior and initial approval of government.
Correct.
Capital. Government is the one that warehouses the monies that
the country owns.
That the country owns.
The treasurer.
The treasurer of the country. They dictate the monetary and fiscal policies of banks. They issue licenses, as a matter of fact, to banks. So if GTB or any bank is to give me loan now, they have to do it in accordance with what government has stipulated.
Prescribed.
Else, it's either they are fined or their licenses withdrawn. Same goes to labor.
Correct.
So when you then consider all of these things as a whole, what do you make of this?
Government and business, they are together.
Yes.
Government has both managerial functions and actual participatory functions in business. Now, you know, I have talked a lot about creating enabling environments. What are the enabling environments that make it easy for people who want to get into farming, into manufacturing, to get land, to do these things? Are those processes really enabling? Because there was a time that I wanted to venture into palm tree plantation, because palm tree is something that I can get so many things out of.
Yeah.
The only reason that I could not do it is that I couldn't get land. Because it was not easy to get land. Yes. Now, as far as labor is concerned, so anybody can create a factory or whatever and employ people. But government, that's why we have a Federal Ministry of Labor and Employment.
Employment, yes.
Good. The employment should not be just arbitrary, ad hoc, permanently ad hoc. No, it's not supposed to be. Now, when an organization employs people, what are the terms of the employment? What are the terms of contract? What is the remuneration like? What do you pay to those people? It's supposed to be a primary concern of government. That is part of the managerial functions of government in business. Because you cannot just employ people and be paying them peanuts.
Yes.
It's not going to work. It's not supposed to be.
Section 16 addresses this question of payment of peanuts and all. So it says that the state shall direct its policy towards ensuring, that's subsection 2 now, the promotion of a planned and balanced economic development, that the material resources of the nation are annexed and distributed as best as possible to serve the common good, that the economic system is not operated in such a manner as to permit the concentration of wealth or the means of production and exchange in the hands of few individuals or of a group, and that suitable and adequate shelter, rights to food and food security, reasonable national minimum living wage.
So the
Reasonable national minimum living wage, old age care and pensions, and unemployment, sick benefits and welfare of the disabled are provided for all citizens.
Let me start with the national minimum living wage.
Reasonable, is it?
Somehow.
It said reasonable national minimum living wage.
If you remove reasonable,
okay, let's remove
it still makes sense.
Okay, to say living, because living is there.
Because living is there. My problem is somehow we have found a way to remove living. And we are just doing
national minimum wage.
In fact, if we call it a reasonable national minimum wage.
Yes.
Reasonable. Well, I can pay you something, and to me it's reasonable.
Yeah.
But is it a living wage? And somehow, take a look at newspapers, reports, and all of those things. What we hear is national minimum wage. National minimum wage. That word living has been removed. Because currently the national minimum wage, which is supposed to be reasonable national minimum living wage, currently is 30,000 naira. 30,000 naira will not buy you a 25 kg bag of rice. That is over 40,000 now.
Yes.
25 kg bag of rice. Now, of course, not everybody is earning minimum wage. But we are saying this is the minimum that someone can earn. Meaning, definitely there are some who are earning that.
Yes.
Excluding tax.
Excluding tax.
So by the time tax is removed, because you have to pay your tax as a citizen of the country.
You pay minimum wage. I mean,
what's this called?
Pay as you earn.
You pay payee.
Yeah,
good.
You pay payee.
So by the time that is removed, because you earn, you pay from what you have earned.
Yes.
It is no longer 30,000 you are taking
Oh,
home.
I think the personal income tax actually excludes people that earn minimum wage from pay as you earn.
paying?
Yeah, I think
Okay.
it does. But there are other taxes that you cannot.
That's exactly what I am going to.
So if you are not paying one tax, you will pay at least you pay tax.
So you will pay tax whether you like it or not. You
it or
pay.
not.
Now, aside that, we will now talk about standard of living, housing. So at the end of the day, someone who is earning 30,000 a month
Pay house
in
rent.
12 months will be earning 360,000. If we add the 13th month, to it, that will be 390,000 a year. How much are you paying as
As
rent?
house rent.
Do you have a family? Will you feed? Will you clothe? All of those things come into
Would you meet the unforeseen circumstances of life, the needs
that will just
arise,
spring up.
That will just spring up.
Your child in the middle of the night starts running temperature. You have to take the child to the hospital. Right?
Yeah.
So is it from the 30,000? No, now it can't work.
You have to report to work.
You have to report to
And
work.
you cannot walk to work.
Now, this is
Especially
very interesting because at this stage,
Yes.
the cost of transportation is astronomical.
Astronomical.
So I know
Abysmally
people
astronomical.
that when they are going for an interview and they are thinking of how much will I ask for, if they ask me how much I want,
yes.
the first thing they consider is transportation.
Transportation
And
for
by the
the
time they
month.
calculate it, for some people it's around that 30K.
Transportation
Minimum wage.
alone.
Transportation alone. So of course, not everybody is earning minimum wage. So there are so many graduates in Nigeria that are working in schools or some organizations and are earning double of minimum wage, 60,000.
60,000, yeah.
Well, 60,000, oh, nice money, Abi.
Yes.
Until you remove transportation first. And then you remove feeding out of it.
By the way, spaghetti is now 1,000 naira.
Okay.
A bag of pure water
So
now in some
if
states
spaghetti
is
is 1,000 naira, then it means your
that's one of the
salary.
fast foods that
Yes, now that
not, we should not even mention Indomie.
no, that one has gone out of the reach of the common man. You know, because before, when I was a primary school teacher,
Yes.
in the 2000s, later part of the 2000s, I came to a conclusion that before they used to say gari is the food of the common man.
Yes.
I think now it is rice that is the food of the common man, because a lot of people were just rice. Of course, gari was still it, but rice was like the most common food. I was in school, so what were the children bringing to school? Rice all through every day. Rice. Now, that rice is no longer the food of the common man.
It is not.
Unfortunately, that is our staple.
It's a staple.
But the common man cannot afford our staple.
Our staple.
That's a problem. That's a problem. So when this current government first came to office, there was a report that went around, and the reports are still there. Anybody can Google it. That they implemented a 114% increase in the salaries of top government functionaries.
Yes.
Good. Now, why did they institute that kind of increase? Even though they have come out to debunk it that is not true. But okay, let's say it's not true, right?
Yes.
But assuming it really did happen,
Yes.
why did they think it was important to do that? In any case, there are reports that RMAFC that they actually approved this. The Revenue Mobilization and Fiscal Allocation Commission, RMFAC or something. Yes. And they came out to give some rationale to defend that decision to raise salaries by 114%. So there have been denials that no, that didn't really happen from the presidency. But in any case, we have reports that say this actually happened. Good. The money was raised by 114% because they felt that it was too small to cater for their needs. More than 10 months after, the national minimum living wage has not been considered for increment.
The reasonable
national minimum living wage has not been considered for upward review.
No, of late, quite recently, the Labour NLC, Nigeria Labour Congress, was proposing 1 million naira as
reasonable national.
That's the most reasonable I've ever heard.
That's reasonable.
That's the most reasonable.
But we both know that is not going to happen. We both know that if there is going to be any increment, it will not be up to 100,000.
It would.
So whatever it is increased
because before Labour got to that 1 million whatever,
they have considered a lot of things.
They considered a lot of things.
But in any case, it is really sad. Yes. Actually, it is really sad because taking a look at all of those things that we are talking about, people who are unemployed, who are employed by government or employed somehow else. What of those who are not employed? What of those who are underemployed? What else? Because the constitution says those who are not employed.
That's
and unfortunately, the same government who has refused to carry out its responsibility of taking care of these people will still go ahead to harass and intimidate these people when they carry a basket of goro on the road to sell.
To make
you see one government agency will be coming around and those people will just run away.
Yes.
I once saw Abuja Environmental Protection Board. If they are seeing this video, I once saw your officials with policemen confiscating tomatoes that poor women are selling by the roadside opposite legislative quarters. Tomatoes that these things are perishable. Your officials seized tomatoes that by the time we calculate everything, it's not up to 10,000 naira. That's capital plus profit, not up to 10,000. Your officials confiscated and took away tomatoes. To do what with? So the tomatoes will get rotten and be thrown away.
And we are talking of we are experiencing food insecurity.
How does it make sense?
Just last year in July, the president declared that there is a state of emergency on food insecurity. Just last year. This is a government that came on the mantra of renewed hope.
Good.
This is a government that came on the mantra of renewed hope. Yet its agencies are doing just
things like this.
So how would food insecurity be addressed if government is not making efforts to make food
it's a major
reasonable,
issue.
at least productive efforts? Because of course, I know that there are policies of governments to cushion some of these. If there is the national development policy,
the most serious policy that we have seen being implemented is the sharing of palliatives. The whole country has been turned into a giant IDP camp. You are just sharing rice. There is rice somewhere. People will go there. We've heard of stampede more than once because they are sharing food. These are people who are able-bodied and can work to get their food. Just that the food is out of reach. And why is the food out of reach? People can no longer go to farms to farm. A lot of these people you see in towns hawking sachet water and mirrors and brushes, useless things, cutting boards.
Some are even hawking knives.
Yes, of course, knives,
weapons, swords, machetes. Yes.
They hawk them on the road at our junctions.
Yes.
These people were farmers.
Okay.
Who ran to the towns because they could not remain in the village to farm. If we have 10 of these people that were farming 10 hectares, you have removed 10 hectares of food production from our national food production
value chain.
You get it? How will it be filled? It's a problem. So if we are thinking of state of emergency, what is being done about it? It has to be holistic. Because it has, you see, food security is directly related to national security.
Of course, yes. In fact, in the address of the spokesperson of the president, he said that the president has ordered that this food insecurity issue should be pushed to the purview of the National Security Council, because it's a national security emergency. And of course, they outlined close to 14 or 12 action plans to be taken to address this issue. One of which was they said they are cultivating over 500,000 hectares of land to ensure that those lands are cultivated to plant and produce food in abundance for people to.
If we want to be serious with ourselves, and this is something that makes me really sad.
Yes.
Netherlands is a very small country.
Okay.
I don't know how many of Netherlands they can remove from
maybe
Niger
Lagos
State.
or Niger. Okay.
Yes, it's a very small country, but they produce tons of food. Nigeria is exporting. Yeah, they're exporting food. Nigeria is a very large country. Of course, there are countries that are bigger than Nigeria.
Of course.
Nigeria is very large, and most of the land in Nigeria is arable.
In fact, we have 923,773 kilometers square of area.
Land.
Yes, of land.
Yeah. So Nigeria has more than enough land.
So if it is about land, it's to cultivate food.
If it is about land,
it's about natural resources. We have a lot. It's
about management.
It's about management. We have overshot our time, obviously, and we've not even scratched the surface of Section 16 and how Section 16 envisions for Nigeria a country where its economy would blossom.
Actually, we don't have any excuse.
And the people in the country would flourish within the economic landscape and provisions that the Constitution has made. We have come to the end of our conversation for today on Talk and Do with CPDI show, which is of course supported with a New Nigeria is Possible vision. You can follow the conversations and actions on our social media platforms that are showing on your screen. I would like to remind all Nigerians that for Nigeria to be great and to move forward, we need Nigerians to fall in love and to be educated on what Chapter 2 of the Constitution says, which spells out the fundamental objectives and directive principles of state policy. We also need Nigerians to have the fear of God, not to be people of conscience and not to be wicked citizens. And we need Nigerians to know and respect the rights and responsibilities of every citizen. Until we come your way again, we say, God bless the Federal Republic of Nigeria.